Welcome to episode 8 of The Build. I'm Chris and I'm trying to build 3 writings into being one of the world's best English single malt whiskies. This week building the whiskey, I have to say, didn't really achieve very much because I've been pretty unwell for 2 weeks. And hence you would have noticed there's been a bit of a gap since episode 7. So I haven't really been able to achieve much other than really editing some content, which has been great because I've been able to spend a lot of time on particularly the brewery walk around with Simon Theakston, which hopefully you're enjoying both the short and the long form of that. That's really a fascinating insight into how our distiller's beer is made and just some of the heritage at Theakston's, but particularly how the flavours are created that end up as part of our base spirit in 3 writings. Biggest challenge really is probably budget at the moment. Although we have 60 days to go to the first release on the 23rd of October, budget is the one that is becoming a pain. I set out on this journey to have a fixed budget that we'd allocated to get this first release done. And probably a month or so ago, I thought we were in really good shape, managed to get a number of cost savings down, a couple of different ideas. And then just as we're getting some final costs coming in, the costs are just rising. So right now, it's looking touch and go whether or not I can deliver the budget, which is something that's really, really important for the business. Biggest surprise this week, thankfully no real surprises, again, probably because I've been unwell and not really doing much. But as I mentioned, 60 days to go to the launch. If you're not on the wait list already, please get on there. If you're watching any of these, I'd love you to be one of the first people who can get a first release bottle so that we just don't miss out. Main story this week is pricing, and this has probably been one of the most stressful and difficult decisions that I've had to make so far in coming up with a first release, because a first release to me is something that is, you hope that there's 2 balancing forces with a first release. One is it's the first release of what is hopefully many. And then ultimately, in years and years and years to come, collectors are obsessing about a first release bottle. It's like a first edition of a great book. So for me, there's that side of it, which is it's a huge promise of things to come. But obviously, there's a massive amount of work that's gone in to create that first release. But then, creating this limited number, individually numbered bottles, to sort of have it as quite a defined thing for collectors means that's one end of the spectrum. At the other end of the spectrum is we've never released a whiskey before, so it's an unknown quantity. So trying to balance these 2 things of almost trying to respect the future, but at the same time trying to recognize the value. So coming up with this decision of what to do has been a really, really tricky one. I've spent a lot of time researching previous first releases. I mean, you read stories of crazy numbers or of either people doing large volume sales of first releases but low pricing, and then you hear stories of like quite restricted sales and different things and different ways of doing things. So the other thing we have to bear in mind when we consider our pricing of our first release is we have our Evolution collection, which were sold for £500. And they included one of the first release bottles, and then had 5 other of the aging new make. But in reality, it was getting the first release. So that sort of sets a price point of where we really need to be. And one of the things I've been spending a lot of time on, if you're following this channel, has been investing into something really, really high quality, really valuable in terms of the collector's box. Now that display box, I think, is an incredible piece, and I imagine any serious whiskey collector would love to have one of these in their collection. It will look amazing in and amongst the collections that people have. It's very expensive, so a lot of the pricing is reflecting that. So what I've done is create 2 options. The first release will be one of the individually numbered bottles, the one of 1,000, and it'll come in a really well-designed gift box. So thanks to everyone who provided some opinions and votes on. We've gone with the front opening one, Just finalising the design, but it's going to look really, really premium. We're going to integrate the illustration that you might have seen around the bottom of the bottle, which is a barley field and all the heritage of the three makers around that. So we're going to integrate that into the box, and it's going to look really, really nice. It'll come with a certificate of authenticity, and it will also come in one of those satin dust bags that I've also featured on the channel before. So that first release will be £130 on our website. Now, the second version will be the collector's edition. And this is for those who are serious about collection and want to buy, to collect and display. And that's the one that comes with the big, beautiful, handmade wooden collector's edition box. That thing is genuinely a thing of beauty when you see it in person. I hope you'll all be impressed. Every person who's managed to see the prototype that I've got and touch it, and particularly the texture of it, everyone acknowledges it's a really lovely piece. It's very expensive. In the collector's edition, you'll get that collector's edition box. You'll obviously also get that in the satin bag. Certificate of authenticity. It will be one of the lower numbered bottles. So the first 200 bottles are going to our Evolution Collection owners. And then the next will be allocated to those that elect to buy a collector's edition. It will also come with, importantly, and this is part of making it the collector's edition, it will come with Evolution Whisky Club membership. Now, a couple of things that are really interesting from a collector's standpoint. The first is that being a member of the Evolution Whisky Club will give you access to a 2-week pre-sale on all of our future releases of 3 Ridings single malts. So that means hopefully if you're a collector and you want to get the collections, you don't want to miss out, a 2-week pre-sale on all of our future releases goes to the Evolution Whisky Club members. So the Evolution Collection owners who own them now are already members of the Evolution Whisky Club, and then the people who buy the collector's edition this time will also become members of the Evolution Whisky Club. It also comes with a 10% discount, but then a couple of other things. So there'll be some pre-release tastings available at the distillery, and then potentially some other locations depending on how each release goes as we do them over the years to come. And then also there's a load of free tours and all sorts of other things. So essentially it means you can come to the distillery anytime you like and go on a tour for free as a member of the Evolution Whisky Club. So it's a really important part of our business and how we sort of expand to create a broader group of people who are big supporters of 3 Ridings and what we're doing now and what we're going to do in the future. So the collector's edition will be £330, and a huge part of that is really the cost of that collector's box. So in there with that discount that I mentioned, we'll also apply that at the time. So if you do buy a collector's edition at the time, then your 10% discount will apply on additional ones if you want to buy more than one. I know someone who's wanting to buy 4, for example, or it might be that you want to buy the collector's edition and keep that and display that, and then you want to buy a first release because you actually want to drink the liquid and share it with your friends. So that 10% discount will apply to those sales on checkout, but we'll deal with that at the time that we actually make these available for sale on our website. The most important thing is you need to be on the wait list. So make sure you head over to 3ridingswhiskey.com, get on the wait list. It's simple as just putting your email in there. It doesn't cost anything to be on the wait list. Like with YouTube, it doesn't cost anything to subscribe. It's really valuable to me and to the business to be able to make sure you see the content. Like when this lands, if you're a subscriber, you'll get a notification saying that a new episode's available. So hopefully you'll do that. If you can, all the things that are really important right now for the channel, for 3 Ridings is make sure you're on that wait list so you don't miss out. You get that 72-hour pre-sale access that no one else is going to get. And then please subscribe to your YouTube channel and follow along on Instagram. So what's up next? So on Wednesday this week, I'm heading to Veralia to see our glass production run of the 3 Ridings bottle, which is fantastic. We managed to get it in, squeeze it in. It's been not without its perils getting this done. It's going to be in 100% recycled glass, which I think is a great outcome. That's still quite hard to get, clear glass and 100% recycled. So I'm really happy and thankful that Veralia were able to get us into that glass for our first release. And then after that, really on the interview I did for the Founder Series with Alex Wolpert is just got to do some final touches, but that'll be out on either Thursday or Friday this week, just depending on how the rest of the week shapes up. That's a fascinating conversation with Alex. Well, I filmed it on the same day that I filmed the one with Simon from Burnt Faith. But Alex, who is the founder of East London Liquor Company, he's been through some ups and some downs over the time that he's been running that business. And it's a fascinating conversation, not just about whiskey, but also just about business and the resilience you need to be able to take on things like this and take on what he's done with East London Liquor Company. I think there's a really fascinating how they've built that business, really from East London and really sort of concentric circles out. There's a lot of lessons to be learned about how you can build a brand and really passionate about liquids. So hopefully you enjoy that. Subscribe to the YouTube channel and you won't miss out because it'll give you a notification when it is. So I look forward to seeing you next time. Thanks very much.